Hey everyone, we are back and the countdown is slowly coming to an end to chapter 1000. I cannot wait until we get to that One Piece chapter 1000. I can't wait to see what the big reveal is. I can't wait to see what exactly is going to happen in that chapter that's going to make it absolutely legendary. This chapter today, One Piece chapter 999, was absolutely legendary. It was an amazing chapter, and it even provoked some ideas for a couple videos. One being a video for the character of Ace and his development and why he was actually a good character. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I'm gonna make a video on that. And then I'm also going to make a separate video on Whitebeard, because it seems like some people don't think that this really works for Whitebeard, but while I listened to some other people's reviews and kind of read this story today, I kind of put together my own thoughts on why I think Whitebeard, his whole ideals and why he did and didn't do things made sense. And I'll include a little bit of it in this review, but I'm going to make a separate video explaining why Whitebeard's actions do make sense rather than going against who he is. But anyways, today I'm going to start with this chapter. I'll start with the cover page, which I thought was really awesome. It was a bunch of other artists drawing some of the characters in One Piece in their own style. So we have Bellamy, we have Tashigi, we have Chopper, we have Ace, we even have Gaimon from all the way back in the East Blue, we have Boa Hancock, Don Krieg all the way back from the East Blue, we have Shinobu from this Wano arc, we have Gecko Moria, and yeah, I think that's about it. So once we move on to the actual chapter, we have chapter 999, one away from the legendary chapter 1000, which I cannot wait for. Obviously, I think everyone's excited for this, but the chapter 999 is titled "The Sake I Brew While Waiting for You." And it opens up with a flashback from Ace clashing with Yamato. They're both asking each other their names and they're fighting back and forth. Ace declares that he came for Kaido's head, and Yamato mentions that her father is gone on an expedition with all the higher ranks not there, and everyone is surprised to hear that that is Kaido's daughter. Yamato explains that she doesn't really want to be the protector of the country, but he has caused so much damage that she's going to fight him. You also find out from Ace's crew that some kids were abducted, and they're going to get those kids and take them back to their families. And that's why they're currently on Wano. Ace mentions that he can't believe that someone as strong as her is not a captain, which is kind of a cool little homage to Yamato proving and showing how strong she actually is, and just the intensity and strength of Kaido and his whole crew and how strong they actually are. As they continue to fight, Ace mentions to her that they don't get to choose their fathers, which is kind of interesting coming from him because he's always had a bitter feeling and taste towards his father, and it's kind of like he needs to listen to his own words and not freak out as much as he does about his father, because he's giving her the same advice that someone else would be giving him. So I think it's just kind of funny that he's saying that to her. He also mentions how even though her hands are being bound, that she shouldn't allow her heart to be bound as well. And then you find out that that dragon that she said before was destroyed by her friend Ace was actually destroyed by her, and it's a symbol of Kaido. And that she wants to go out and have adventures on the sea, just like Odin. That then makes Ace laugh, and then he hits that statue even more and burns it, and tells her that he can blame it on her, and that he can blame it on him, and that's a warning to Kaido. Yamato mentions as soon as she gets her cuffs off that she will go out to sea. It's kind of cool because Yamato starts to ask what it's like outside of Wano, and if there's a lot of young pirates setting out to sea. So Ace starts recalling some of the young ones. He mentions Cavan something, which we all know as Cavendish. He said he's all the rave right now, which I think is hilarious because we know the story of Cavendish. We know that he used to be very popular before the worst generation came around. So that was a cool little thing for Oda to put in right there. But then he also goes on to mention that Kid in the south, Law in the north, and Beige in the west. He's talking about them being some rookies who are wreaking a lot of havoc. But what's even better is he has this moment where he says, "That said, the most formidable of them all will set out to sea in a few years, my little brother." And I love that. It's doing a couple things. It's showing that Ace thinks that Luffy will be the strongest of the new generation. He knows Luffy's potential. He knows that he's going to make a name for himself and be a great pirate. But then he's also letting Yamato know about his brother, which helps a lot out, obviously, with this arc currently that's going on, and giving Yamato the ability to know about Luffy for this arc, which we've already seen. We just didn't know how it got to that point, and I guess some of us assumed that it was Ace that told her. Then it shows Yamato talking to Momonosuke, telling her the story of Ace, and she mentions that she was the one who destroyed the dragon first, but then Ace said, "Until I come back, this will serve as my warning to Kaido." She said Kaido was angry about it, but in the end, he never met Ace. So a lot of people had these theories that Kaido may have met Ace at some point. He never did. Momo then realizes that she's been referring to Kaido as her father. And Yamato goes on to mention, "Kaido is my father. Sorry I forgot to tell you, but I really despise that man. Remember, I told you that I am Odin, didn't I?" And it's really funny because nobody understands when she says that, and Momo says, "You're not making any sense," because that's his father she's talking about. She's telling him that she's his father. It's just really confusing for Momo. It's really a funny moment too. Then it goes on with Momo saying that they appreciate her for helping with her wounds. "But why did you tell us about the man? He died 2 years ago." And Yamato, I guess, didn't realize that he died. And she said Ace was, and it trails off. And we can kind of tell, obviously, that she was going to say it's Luffy's brother. But then it goes to Nami and Tama, and they're talking about Ace at that moment. Tama mentions that she was trained to be a Kunoichi because of Ace, and that Luffy was not being very sensitive about the whole Ace thing. Nami did mention that that's just how Luffy is, and that Luffy felt a lot of pain because of the whole Ace situation and Ace dying as well, which Tama was very confused about. But right when you think you're about to find more out, it goes to inside the dome live floor, and you have Queen yelling, "Stop Marco." Queen also mentions, "Why are you letting him run circles around you?" which I think is really funny because obviously Marco is a huge, big shot in the pirate world, and of course he's going to be running circles around them all. He's the first commander of Whitebeard. He could be the new captain if he wanted to be. Obviously he's not probably as strong as Kaido or some of these other Yonko, but he's very powerful, and of course he's running circles around them. You also see some dialogue where the subordinates are saying, "He just saved us though," and then someone else mentions, "Would you rather be killed by Master Queen instead?" which I think is funny because you're kind of seeing these beast pirates, their wheels are turning and realizing, hey, these guys are kind of good. They're saving us even though we're bad guys, or even though we're enemies and against them. And Queen, who's on our own side, would be willing to kill us. So I think there will be something happening pretty soon with some of the beast pirates wanting to be on the other side because of how brutal Queen has been. Marco mentions that he has no reason to go after Kaido, and he tells Robin and Brook to run up the castle. Marco then asks Zoro if he's ready as he transforms into his phoenix form, and you see a cool shot of him grabbing Zoro by the shoulders with his legs, flying Zoro up. Queen says, "You fools, he's taking one of the Straw Hats with him." And Zoro says, "Now that's what I'm talking about." And as we see Marco the Phoenix flying up, it starts going into a flashback where you hear someone saying, "I'm begging you, Pops, and I'm telling you no, you fool." It shows Marco remembering Whitebeard having a conversation with Ace. And then it shows Whitebeard telling Ace that he's sure he's already told him about the man who held the seat of the 2nd Division commander, and the reason why it's been retired for so long. It shows Izo saying that they only found out about Lord Odin's death several years after the incident had already happened. And then Marco says, "We've thought about marching into Wano countless times. However, think about the countless amount of casualties it would cause if we did that." And so when Marco says that, it kind of makes me think that that's something that Whitebeard had said. He's kind of restating what Whitebeard had already mentioned. And with this, a lot of people don't like, because they think it goes against the character of Whitebeard, where Whitebeard would do anything for his crew, which I totally agree with. I do think that Whitebeard would do anything for his crew, but I don't think he knew the persecution that Odin went through while Odin was going through it. Like he just said, or like Izo just said, they didn't learn about the death until several years later. So there'd be no point for them to go back and fight Kaido because they killed Odin. And I'm sure they don't really even know that some of the members of the Red Scabbards are being persecuted at that moment either. I guess they could assume so, but I guess they don't really know either. And with Odin already dead, there would be no reason for Whitebeard to go there. And you can compare that to Ace. A lot of people wanted to compare it to Ace. And my whole thing with that is Ace was still alive and Whitebeard was willing to give his life so that Ace could live, which obviously we know didn't happen in the end. But in the Odin situation, there's no point for him to go and rescue Odin because Odin is already dead. He doesn't want to put more of his people's life on the line in order to get revenge for Odin. And it kind of makes more sense that he's willing to put stock and put his men's life on the line for another person's life. And they were all willing to go and rescue Ace as well. The whole point was a rescue. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't to avenge Odin's death. It wasn't anything like that. It was to save Ace. And so I think that Whitebeard thinks saving a person's life is more than just getting revenge. And he didn't want people to die just for a vendetta they had against Kaido. So I'll stop with my rant right there. I'm going to make another video about that coming up, I think, next week before Christmas. So yeah, just be looking out for that. But as we continue, we see Ace making a huge declaration wanting to go by himself and that he made a promise. That makes Whitebeard mad and he swings at Ace. He said, "A man that even Kozuki Odin couldn't take down. You think you can beat him? Don't be so full of yourself, Ace." And I love that line because I'm a huge Odin fan. I think Odin is one of the best characters. I love Odin. Everything about Odin was just awesome. I really enjoyed that flashback with Odin. And it kind of shows that Whitebeard realizes how strong Odin was, and that if Odin couldn't beat Kaido, then there's no way Ace could beat him. And I think that Whitebeard's kind of thinking as well that Odin probably got a lot stronger since he was on Roger's crew, and he should be close to maybe Whitebeard's level, maybe, and that Whitebeard's probably on his decline, really sick, thinking, I don't want to have to take on someone that Odin couldn't even take on because of the similar levels that they might be on at that point. We also see Blackbeard laughing his usual laugh, Zay ha ha ha, and then he says, "But seriously, Odin was really strong. Captain Ace, you really just want to take down a big shot, don't you?" And then I think it's kind of cool because then it shows Marco saying, "Shut up, Teach. Ace isn't just doing this to acquire fame," which I think was kind of cool because it shows Marco defending Ace and at the same time saying who Ace is and that he's not trying to get fame. He's trying to rescue people. He's trying to help people out. It shows Ace beaten up and Ace says, "Damn it, if I don't get stronger, I won't be able to fulfill my promise." And then it shows Izo and Marco telling Ace that if Pops ever gives him the green light to go to Wano, to take them with them. Ace also mentions that if they came along, he's sure they could win. It then shows Marco in the present day at Wano, and it shows Queen and King transformed into their dinosaur forms as Marco's coming up upon them. Queen mentions that he thinks that Marco is crazy if he thinks he can get by them and that the samurai are probably all dead by then. King says all they have to do now is kill Odin's son and the war will be over. And then Marco has a really great comment back to them. He says, if you really think that, then you're in for a mean surprise. Right now, you guys are facing off against the new generation, which I love that he said that right there, because if Marco and Zoro end up fighting King and Queen together and taking them out, it's kind of showing that Marco's taking down the lower ranks. Obviously, they're not super lower rank because it's King and Queen, but the ones who are ranked lower than Kaido, he's taking them out so the new generation can have a go at Kaido, which shows how much potential he sees in the new generation, and he's wanting to give them a chance. It shows Queen having a gun coming out of his mouth, shooting at Marco, but obviously the bullets don't affect Marco. It then goes to Tama and Nami again, and Tama is very surprised, saying, Big Bro Luffy is Ace's little brother? Oh no, I was so harsh to Big Bro Luffy earlier. And Nami mentions that it's okay, and if it bothered Luffy, then he would have said something to her. And then Nami mentions that she wants to do the plan that Tama had laid out. Then it shows Momo's reaction to what Yamato was saying, and Momo says, what? He was Roger's son and Luffy's big brother? Is that really true? Which is kind of cool because Momo met Roger. He met the Pirate King because he was on his ship. And then Yamato mentions something kind of interesting. She mentions, you were the one who brought Luffy to Wano, weren't you? And Momo says he did. And then Yamato goes on to say, there are as many pirates as there are stars in the sky. And among all of them, somehow he was the one you met and brought back to this country. I can't think of this as anything else but fate. And then she even goes on to mention that he has the D in his name, which I think is very significant because she pulls out the journal at that moment. She knows what the D is. She knows the meaning behind the D, and I think we might get that sooner than we originally thought. I think we thought we were going to get the D. I thought we were going to get the D sometime when they reach Laugh Tale, but it looks like maybe Yamato might reveal soon what the D actually means. And maybe since Law is there, she'll be the one to reveal it to Law, so Law will know what the D is. It also alludes to something about the D being fated for something, which we already kind of know that, but it's just a little bit more juice that we get for that theory. It goes then to Prometheus and Zeus filling up and going back to full power. And we see Big Mom talking to Kaido saying, Straw Hat's not here yet? And then she drops a huge bomb on us, which I thought was awesome because there's been so many theories that this was going to happen with Blackbeard or some other pirate trying to do this. But Big Mom mentions that she doesn't care how many people Kaido kills, just leave Nico Robin alive. Obviously, when she says that, she's alluding to the fact that she wants Robin in order to read the poneglyphs and become the Pirate King. Kaido then reveals that he knows about her daughter being part of the Three-Eyed Tribe and that they're supposed to be able to read ancient text. Big Mom then reveals that she doesn't want to wait any longer for her eye to open and have her true awakening. And then she asks where Kaido is planning to drop the island on, which was actually a big surprise to me because I thought they were going straight to the capital, but it seems that they're going to Odin's castle and dropping it right on Odin's castle. Big Mom then obviously mentions that there might be a lot of people dying because there's a festival going on, and Kaido says he doesn't care, that he can just get more slaves later. He also declares that he wants it to be a new capital for the new Onigashima. Big Mom then asks if the road poneglyph is there, and Kaido mentions that it's a little bit too early for her to show her true colors, isn't it? Which I thought was funny because he probably already knew that she was planning on betraying him, and I mean, he's probably planning on betraying her. I'm sure he's just using her in order to take out some big pirates and other names in the world. Big Mom is then furious and says, don't belittle me even now. I still think of you as a little brother, which I think is very interesting because some can assume that Big Mom might actually be stronger than Kaido. We're not entirely sure about that right now, but it could be possible that since she's a little older and she kind of knows Kaido's techniques and she's been there since he was younger, she might be a little stronger than him. We don't know that for sure, obviously. Then it goes on with Big Mom saying that at God Valley when the rock pirates fell, she was the one who gave Kaido his devil fruit. And we don't get a full reveal on the devil fruit. We don't know exactly what it is, but she does mention that it is a mythical type fish fruit, which just opens a bunch of questions. Can Kaido swim? Can he breathe underwater? Does he have gills? What is the form that he has when he goes into his dragon form? Because he looks just like a dragon. Is it just like a elongated fish? We're going to learn so much more about it because it's mythical type. And I think that it's going to be a pretty big reveal once we find out what model it actually is and what properties it actually holds. Big Mom also mentions that because she gave him that fruit, that he still owes her a lifelong debt. And I don't think she's just going to let him pay that debt off easily. Kaido then says for her to say whatever she wants and they can settle that after they acquire the One Piece. And the chapter ends right there. It was an amazing chapter. I really love this chapter. I don't think there's any issues with it. Obviously, I will give deeper thoughts into the Whitebeard stuff and the Ace stuff with new videos coming out next week. I cannot wait to put those out. And I cannot wait for chapter 1000. Be here with me when that comes out. I might try to do something big for it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm so excited for chapter 1000. I cannot wait to see the reveals. I cannot wait to see why it's going to be so legendary, because we all know it's going to be legendary. It might be the moment where Luffy breaks the skull, gets up there, and faces down between Kaido and Big Mom. We might also get Law and Kid up there. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm so excited for chapter 1000. And for the spoilers, we only have 1 week until we get those spoilers. The official won't be out until the week following, but we get the spoilers early on Christmas. And so I think we're going to have to do a video on Christmas, a big special chapter 1000 Christmas special. I don't know, it's going to be big. I'm excited. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also comment what you thought about this chapter. I want to know what you liked, what you disliked. Remember to be kind to others. See ya.